tabulation of marks for class 12 board examinations 2021. Element 1, class 12 examination. The first element in the assessment of for class 12 are the results of unit test or midterm exams or pre-board examinations conducted by the schools. This is the first element. Now element 2, class 10 board examination. The scores obtained in theory exams, average of best 3 subjects out of main 5 subjects. Then element 3, class 11. The absolute marks of students may be very less than the expected marks of board examinations. This should not be a matter of concern, as this aspect will be taken care by the moderation policy. The board is giving a moderation policy. Through that moderation policy, this 11th marks can be standardized. The stringent marking, if some schools gave stringent marking, very strict marking for 11th class, that can be overcome by moderation policy. The performance of a student in class 11 assessed in a credible manner thus provides an unbiased measure of the upcoming performance of the student in class 12. In sum, the assessment of class 12 should be a composite measure that reflects the student's performance in school-based performance in class 12 and class 11 exams and the results of the performance in the best 3 subjects out of 5 subjects in class 10 board exams, duly moderated as per the policy. Assessment of practical or internal examinations. The schools have completed or are in the process of completion of their practical or internal assessments as per the scheme of assessment of the board. These marks will be incorporated as such in the final result for such subjects. So these marks, most of the schools have already completed this assessment of uploading practical and internal marks. Bifurcation, 2 parts, theory and practical. Theory and practical internal assessment in various subjects as follows. Some subjects have a theory for 80 marks and practicals for 20 marks. Total marks is 100. Some subjects, especially science subjects, 70 marks for theory, 30 marks for practicals, 100 marks total. The students will be assessed out of maximum 100 marks for each subject. Then point 6, due to cancellation of the board examinations, the assessment of theory portion of 80, 70, 60, 50, 30 marks will be done by the school based on the following. So this is the criteria. Class 12 marks based on unit test, midterm or pre-board exams 40%. 11th marks, theory component. Take only the theory component. Avoid the practical marks. Take only the theory component. Why it is so? Because already the practical marks for class 12s are awarded. So take theory component for 30% from 11th class, and for 10th class theory component of best 3 subjects, and it's 30%. This is the criteria given by the board for calculation of class 12 marks. 40%, 30% and 30%. The marks of practical or internal assessment etc. for class 12 will be on actual basis. This will be on actual basis as uploaded by the school on the Cbse portal. Most of the schools have already uploaded their practical or internal assessment marks for class 12. That will be the actual basis. The total marks awarded should be in consonance with the past performance of the school in class 12 board examinations. Theory marks, class 10, class 11 and class 12. Practical or internal assessment marks class 12 and total marks. For class 10 theory paper 24 marks maximum, and class 11 24, and class 12 40%, that is 32 marks. And already class 12 20 marks is maximum, 20 marks is given for practical or internal assessment. So the total marks for class 12 is from 10th class 24 marks, maximum 24 marks will be taken. From class 11 24 marks will be taken, and for class 12 52 marks. 52 in the sense of 32 plus 20. The 32 of theory and practical 20. That is the 52. In every subject is in the same way. You can see here. Circular. Explaining detail how the school assessed marks of class 12 component. So each particular student should have a rational document how that mark is awarded, that you have to keep in documentation. The reason for the weightage given to different exams test. We have to mention the reasons for the weightage given to different exams and tests. Class 11 theory marks. Computation of class 11 theory marks shall be on the basis of year-end final theory exam in respective subjects. Computation of class 10 theory marks shall be based on average theory marks obtained by the students in best 3 performing subjects out of the main 5 subjects. This average will be uniformly awarded to all the class 12 subjects. To facilitate ease in entering the theory marks of class 10, the board will provide, Cbse board will provide the marks for the students who have appeared in Cbse class 10 examinations. Constitution of Result Committee. Each school shall form a result committee of 5 members for the following constitution. First, principal of the school, chairperson. 2 senior most teachers of the school teaching class 12. 2 senior most teachers. And 2 teachers from neighboring senior secondary school teaching class 12 co-opted as external members. These 4 things. Then specific inviting. This is the 5th point. Specific inviting. The result committee may also invite a teacher with IT background for full-time assistance in computation of results. Subject teachers shall be present in committee for deliberations, weighing and examining. As and when performance of their subject and students is being discussed and recorded. Therefore, to ensure standardization, each school will have to internally moderate the marks to account for the school level variations by using a reliable reference standard. The weightage of each class, that we know already, 30, 30 and 40. This is the weightage. Thereafter, based on the total marks, moderation shall be carried out by the school in class 11 and 12. Then hereafter, moderation shall be carried out for classes 11 and 12th marks, scaling up or down. So it can be scale up or scale down of class 11 and 12th marks may have to be done in a fair and transparent manner by the result committee. So the result committee can give moderation. Sometimes it is needed to scale up. sometimes scale down to compete with the reliable reference standard of marks. As class 10 marks are already standardized, no scaling needs to be done by the schools. So the reference year's mark should be taken for moderating the marks. Whether we have to scale up or scale down marks, it is decided by the historical performance of the school, or we simply call it reference year's marks. If in a specific school the overall average of students in 2017-18 is 72%, in 18-19 is 74%, and in 19-20 is 71%, the school will use the subject-wise average of 18-90 for moderation. So 18-19 is the maximum marks, 74% for all subjects. That can be taken for moderation.
Look at this page. The board will provide the broad distribution of marks across students for a particular subject. Subject-wise broad distribution pattern will be provided by the board for each school in the following format. The distribution of marks is based on the performance of the school in the subject in class 12 board examination in according to the reference year. The school should follow the broad pattern of distribution of students' total theory marks, that is the composite total of class 10, class 11, class 12 theory marks. For example, mathematics marks for class 12 2020. This is the reference year mark. The range of students come less than 30% is 1%. From 33 to 50%, 19%. 50 to 75%, 30%, 75 to 95%, 20% students, 90 or above 90%, 30% of students. This broad pattern and distribution of students' total theory marks should be carried out properly. Look at the same case, the distribution for 2021 exams. There are 200 students have to assessed, then the total theory marks of the students should broadly be distributed across range of marks as per the following table. If a school has 200 students, as per the distribution, broad distribution pattern for mathematics, less than 33% means 1% of students, which means 2 out of 200 students. 33 and 49 category, 19%. 19% of 200 is 38 students, and 15% to 75 or 74 category is 30%. 30% of 200 is 60 students, and 75 to 94 category, it is 24%, that is 40 students out of 200, and 95 and above, 30% of students. 30% of 200 is 60 students. This broad distribution should be followed in the year 2021 as according to the previous.
This point is very important. G. The broad distribution of marks obtained by the students of the school in the specific year or reference year, subject wise, will be made available to the school by the board in their login account. Annex 3. It has to ensure that the marks of students are aligned with the broad distribution of marks provided by the board. It may be noted that The indicated distribution has to be followed broadly, and there may be some difference in terms of number of actual students in each category of the distribution than the one indicated. However, the school subject-wise and overall scores should be within the limits provided. The reference here, it may be 30 students. A variation can be happened there. It goes up to 35 or sometimes 28, like that distribution than one indicated. However, the school subject-wise and overall scores should be within the limit provided. However, the subject-wise and overall scores should be within the limit provided. Look at the next point. To facilitate this and make it easy for schools, CBSE will prepare an online system in which school can enter the marks and check whether the marks allocated are in conformity with the historical distribution. Built-in checks for distribution of marks as well as subject-wise average marks will be available in the online system. And once the uploaded school-based assessment marks are consistent with the board's policy and directives, the school will be able to finalize the marks on the board's portal. In case marks are not consistent with the board's policy, schools will not be able to upload marks on the board portal. For example, the aggregate average of a school for reference year is 75. This year's marks went up to 77. If it goes above 77.01%, the system will not accept your marks. That we have to give special attention. Next point. Assessment of more than 5 subjects. As per scheme of studies, if any student has opted for more than 5 subjects, then the mean marks of the best 3 subjects out of maximum allotted marks after conversion, in case maximum marks are other than 80, may be awarded in the subject. That mark can be awarded for the additional subjects. So student-wise documentation is necessary. Not the point. Student-wise documentation. Verification of records by CBSE. CBSE may depute a team to verify the documents and the process of awarding marks uploaded to ensure correctness of the same. Serial number 1 and 2. Pre-board examination, which you are taking for that weightage, you have to mention here. Reason for weightage given to different test exams may be indicated. This is an illustrative example only. Internal moderation of marks. The board will provide the board distribution of marks across students for a particular subject for the school in the following format. The distribution of marks is based on the performance of the school in the subject in class 12 board examination in reference year. The school should follow the broad pattern of distribution of students' total theory marks, that is, the composite total of class 10, class 11 and class 12 theory marks. Subject, for example, class 12 2020 marks, mathematics. Marks in percentage, less than 33 percentage from the reference year, 1% of student is there. Then 33 or above 33, up to it may be 49, not up to 50. It is 90%. And from 50 to 74%, it is 30. And from 75 to 94, that is 20%. And from 95 to 100, 30% students. Average marks in mathematics 62. Overall average in all subjects in reference year 66. This is the marks An example marks awarded for each student. In case the school gets the above distribution and in 2020-21 exams 200 students have to be assessed, then the total theory marks of the student should broadly be distributed across range of marks as per the following table. Take for example, a school has 200 students and the subject average of maths is 62 and the reference year overall subject average is 66. How can we distribute the marks? Subject mathematics, number of students 200, class 12, 20, 21 marks. Marks in range, which means less than 33%, 1% of student as per the reference year. 1% of 200 is 2 students. And 33 to 49, it may be 19%. 19% of 200 is 38. Then 50 to 74, that is 30%. 30% of 200 is 60. And 75 to 94, that is 20%, that is 14 students. And 95 to 100, that is 30%, that is 60. So this is the distribution of marks, average distribution of marks. A slight variation can be happen with this. Average marks assessed in mathematics 62 plus or minus 5 marks. The school has enough flexibility for assessing individual student. However, overall distribution of marks should broadly fall in the above range. So broadly fall in the above range. The average marks indicated are 62 for mathematics for the school based on the reference year's performance in the board exam. The school will have to ensure that the average assessed marks for 2021 for mathematics are within a range of plus or minus 5 marks, that is between 57 to 67 marks. The committee may have to scale or revise class 11 or class 12 theory marks only as per requirement. Class 10 marks should not be moderated as these are already standardized. However, the above average for all these subjects assessed by the school should not exceed 66 plus 2, that is 68 marks. The overall average of the entire subject should not exceed 68 marks. Thus, the school can allow a variation of 5 marks from the subject average. However, the overall average for all the subjects shall not exceed the average of the reference year by 2 marks. So, school can allow a variation of 5 marks from the subject average. However, the overall average of all subjects shall not exceed of the reference year by 2 marks. The maximum extension allowed is 2 marks. If the school average is 66, they can be given this year as 68 with plus 2. That is the maximum average for this year's result. Then Annexure 4, school activity. Formation of result committee by school by 23rd June 2021. To note subject-wise maximum marks of subject offered by the school. Identification of the students if changed their subjects, class 12 with approval of the Cbse. Availability of the marks of class 10 if students has passed class 10 from board other than Cbse. Availability of the marks of class 11 if students has passed class 11 from any other school. Then finalization of the roadmap and is scheduled by the committee 30th June 2021. Finalization of result after moderation and checking by schools. Uploading of marks on boards 15th July 2021 by the Cbse. Provision of subject-wise, school-wise distribution of marks as per previous board exams by Cbse 28th June. Availability of portal for uploading marks begins on 8th July. Declaration of result 31st July. School should not wait for last day to complete an activity. Based on the number of students, class 12, they may complete the activity earlier too.